Assalamu alaikum. Today on Nuran Academy, we discuss the intersection of life-saving technology and our sacred principles. If you benefit, please support by subscribing and sharing as a sadaqah. So let's start with a really foundational question, one that's going to frame our entire discussion today. Can technology, these incredible innovations from the human mind, can something like that actually be considered an act of worship? Let's explore that. To even begin to answer that, we first have to understand a challenge that's happening right now. It's huge, but it's often invisible. It's not a crisis of medicine. Not really. It's a crisis of access. A silent wall that separates so many people from the healing they need. I mean, think about this for a second. Right now, on this planet, there are over 1 billion people who can't reliably get to a hospital or clinic by road. 1 billion. For them, a simple trip to get medicine isn't just an inconvenience, it can be an impossible journey. The life-saving treatments exist, but they're completely out of reach. This puts healthcare providers in an absolutely brutal position. They face this impossible choice every single day. On one hand, they can stockpile expensive supplies like blood and vaccines, knowing that a lot of it will probably expire before it can be used. Or, on the other hand, they can understock, which basically means denying care to anyone who lives too far away. So you see the trade-off. Either you waste precious resources or you leave whole communities with no hope. But here's the thing. When we're faced with a challenge this big, innovation, when it's guided by the right intention, can show us a new way forward. The solution here isn't about building better roads or faster trucks. No, it's about leaving the ground entirely. It's about completely reimagining the pathways to healing. And that solution has a name: autonomous healthcare logistics. It's a system that uses unmanned aerial vehicles, drones essentially, to fly medical supplies directly to where they're needed most. It's a network that just bypasses all the broken roads, the rough terrain, all the things that stop us on the ground. And what exactly is this system carrying? Well, it's carrying the absolute essentials of life. We're talking about blood and plasma for transfusions, critical lab samples that need to be analyzed quickly, vaccines that have to stay cold, and prescription medicines that can literally be the difference between life and death. The whole process is built for speed, for immediacy. Picture this: a health worker in a remote village sends a request. Instantly, from a central hub, one of these autonomous vehicles is launched, and within minutes, not hours, but minutes, those life-saving supplies are dropped off exactly where they need to be. No waiting, no delays. Now this is where it gets really interesting, because the technology like this forces us to step back and think about our tools in a completely different light. This isn't just about cool new gadgets. It's about seeing innovation as a sacred trust, as an amana, and looking at what we can build through the lens of our faith. You see, from an Islamic point of view, a tool is never just a tool. It doesn't matter how advanced it is. Every piece of technology we invent is a test. It's a means that Allah has given us, and it tests our intention, how we use it, and what our ultimate goal is. In a way, it's a reflection of our pursuit of ihsan, of excellence for a higher purpose. So that leads us to the crucial question: what higher objective does this innovation serve? This is where we can align our technology with the ultimate goals of our faith, what scholars call the maqasid al-sharia. And one of the very highest of those objectives is the preservation of life itself. In our tradition, this principle is known as hifz al-nafs. For centuries, Islamic scholarship has affirmed that one of the most important goals of the divine law is to preserve the human soul and body. It's absolutely fundamental to our worldview. And this principle, hifz al-nafs, it isn't some abstract theological idea. No, it's an active command. It's a foundational duty on the community, a fard al-kifaya, to protect the sanctity of every single human life. It's a call to action, really, telling us to use the gifts we've been given to prevent harm and save those who are in danger. And when you guide technology with a principle like that, well, the results are just profound. In the places where this system was put into practice, maternal mortality dropped by more than half. The waste of critical blood supplies fell by 2/3. Emergency deliveries went from taking hours to taking just minutes. Suddenly, every patient is reachable, every clinic is connected. This isn't just better logistics. This is the principle of preserving life in action. Okay, so let's bring this all to our final reflection, because this all builds towards our collective responsibility, the knowledge, the ability to create something like this. That isn't just a human achievement. It is a trust, an amana from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that leaves all of us with a really critical question to sit with. Now that we know what's possible, how are we going to direct our knowledge? How are we going to use these blessings of intellect and innovation to serve the common good, to help those who are suffering, and to truly fulfill our role as stewards here on earth?
We'll end with this beautiful supplication from the Quran, asking for the kind of knowledge that truly benefits, the kind that uplifts us and brings us closer to our purpose. Rabbi zidni ilma, my Lord, increase me in knowledge.
Presented and created by Norin Studio.